which are first P is profession, second passion, third physique, then people, places, paisa, and philosophy. Out of these, the third P, that is the physique or the body, is what we're going to be talking about now. So today's theme is the road to fitness. And we've got four amazing guests as experts with us, Dr. Girish Pandit, I think he's there. Has he joined in or not? Is that? I think he's trying to come on. Dr. Palvi Aga, Manisha Khungar, and Umesh Chabra. But before I go on to introducing the guests, let me just tell you a few things about the show. I'll be talking to the guests, interviewing them. They'll share their knowledge, their information with us. And after they have talked about the things, we'll be opening the house for questioning. So you can always, either raise your hands to ask the question on Zoom, or you can put your question in the chat, and we'll take up the questions one by one. During the course of the chat, during the course of the show, please keep your mics on mute. Your mics have been muted. You may not be allowed to unmute them also. We'll allow you to unmute the mics once the talk is finished and we're taking the questions in now. So let me start with the introduction of the guests here. Dr. Girish Pandit is basically he's a doctor. He's a radiologist, MBBS, MD, and he's a renowned ultrasoundologist of Gurgaon. But he's also a very great fitness enthusiast, who is heavily into running, cycling, weight training, and his specialty is TRX training. He's doing a lot of TRX training on his own. He's posting videos about that on the Facebook. And you may not know one thing about him. He's also a very great painter and a poet, which is a hobby which I think he's taken up very recently. Dr. Palvi Aga, a charming young lady, is also MBBS MD doctor. She was a cardiac radiologist earlier on, based in Lucknow, but then shifted to Noida. And she took to running and became a marathon runner. And I think that has transformed not only her appearance, her physique, but also her whole life. And she's taken up fitness very, very seriously. Now she's working as a clinical nutritionist and also mind and body wellness clinic she's running of her own. I'll be putting their links in the comments later on, so you'll be able to trace them, catch them, and contact them. Manisha Khungar is a fitness consultant and coach. She trains triathletes as well as beginners. An avid athlete herself, she loves to run, swim, and lift. She is an amazing coach and amazing fitness consultant. Umesh Chabra is another handsome hunk on the show today. He's a taxation lawyer by profession, but has taken his fitness part so seriously that he's opened up a gym of his own. So he's now become a health and fitness coach along with being a lawyer. He's the founder of the Fitness Box. And another surprising thing, he's a passionate singer himself now. So let us start today's journey with on the road to fitness. We all think of fitness. We all want to be fit. We all want to take care of our bodies, but we don't know where to start, what to do, and how to progress. Basically, we don't know how to motivate ourselves. And let me tell you something. If you're asked that what is the single most requirement or prerequisite which you need for fitness, is it a good gym? Is it a good workout regime? Is it good equipment? Are there good running shoes? Is it a good swimming pool, or a good company, or a good coach? Let me surprise you with an answer. The single most important prerequisite on your road to journey or journey to fitness is motivation. And I can challenge anyone to refute me on this. Motivation is the single most important thing that you need to walk this path of fitness to become fit. Once you have motivation, everything else follows. You'll be able to find the coach, you'll be able to find the gym, you'll be able to find the equipment, you'll be able to find what workout to do, where to work out. Everything will become very, very easy and a breeze once you have the motivation in you. How do you find the motivation is a different thing. Motivation for most of us comes from within. But yes, there are external stimuli. There are things from the outside world which can actually help us motivate us. They can trigger motivation in us now. So be on the lookout for all those stimuli. Look around, look at amazing people who are into fitness. Look at their videos, look at what they share, look at what they do. That may help motivate you. Do we have Dr. Girish here or not yet? I think Dr. Girish has not yet been able to join us yet. So let me start with my other guests on the show. So I'll invite the guests to share their journey, fitness journey briefly. So Manisha Kongar, why don't you start now and tell us that what brought you into this path of fitness? What has been your fitness journey? You have to unmute yourself.
All right. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining and being part of this little talk that we're having today. I know quite a few of you, and I'm really excited to share knowledge, information, just chit chat about things, all things fitness, which is, I think, what I am today is all things fitness. I've always been an avid runner, swimmer when I was in my early years from the age of 7. And I had parents that really motivated me and encouraged me to take up sports every single day for fun and for movement. And I was in the corporate world for 15 years, but I didn't give up that. I also have 2 teenage girls, in fact, one's turning 20, and I never stopped exercising, learning new things, trying new sports, trying new fitness lifestyles, whether it's yoga or Pilates or kettlebell training or TRX, and so on and so forth. I moved to Gurgaon 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and I took on fitness as a full-time, I wouldn't call it a job. I turned my passion into profession, and I am now a coach. I coach beginners, I coach Ironman, I coach Ultraman, I coach running, I coach swimming, I coach all things fitness. I also consult and I also mentor. It's very important for me to see that people are moving, that people are using their bodies as best as they can for however long as they can. So that's basically my mantra. I kind of try and motivate, encourage, stand by, and definitely, I always am a big cheerleader for anyone that's trying. So that's me and fitness for you in a nutshell.
Okay, good. That's great. Dr. Pallavi Aga, can I have you sharing your fitness journey, which has been amazing because I've been following your journey all throughout now. And when you came to Delhi, you were nice, cute, round girl, and now you're amazing and fantastic person. Though I found that one more cute, no. So why don't you share your journey, no?
Yeah,
And plus,
Sanjay. So,
you became from a radiologist, you turned into fitness expert, no? Please.
so thank you very much, Sanjay. So, the first thing I would like to say, this is an awesome initiative, really terrific initiative, and you yourself are such a multifaceted person, and such a vibrant person, such a great motivator, and I think you have been motivating me right since the very beginning. I still remember my first half marathon where you had given me so many inspirations, thanks to all our common friends. So thank you very much for having me on this show.
Thank
And
you.
my fitness journey is actually very different from what Manisha said. I was never into sports. I was always a nerdy teenager. I entered my MBBS in the medical college, extremely studious. Nobody in my family is in sports. We were actually never encouraged for sports. It was always that you have to study. So all of us kept studying all the time. And gradually, of course, not gradually, I was actually always an obese teenager. I grew up to be an obese adult. Both the pregnancies landed up with a lot of other issues as well. And I did move into multiple kinds of diet patterns, diet regimes, exercise, eat less, exercise more, and all those kind of things. Nothing really helped me. It used to be a yo-yo kind of a thing. I used to lose my weight and get back again. And that was when I slowly and steadily wanted to move into the whole thing about what and where am I going wrong. And that is again where I started turning my passion into profession. I started reading, I started researching. I understood that people like me who have been a plump teenager or a plump child and have had years of, weight issues, are basically having a lot of basically biochemical problems inside our body, which I could make out when I started getting the investigations done. Slowly and steadily, I moved into running. So I was still remembering how even a 1 kilometer used to be like torture for me. It was a matter of great pride the day I was able to run a whole 1 kilometer. The first time when we met in Delhi, that was the first time in Airtel Half Marathon, I could manage to complete a 6 kilometers with our common friend Shelly. That was again huge for me, and that was when I actually decided the next year I'll be running a half. And that's where all the fitness journey started. It all started with my passion for breaking out of this cage of fatness where I was entrapped, and moving into a life where I wanted to be productive, I wanted to be fit. So for me, the motivation was basically my health, and the fact that I wanted to build up a positive stereotype for both my daughters. I did not want them to look towards a mom who's fat, unfit, unhealthy, and every day she's waking up and complaining of body aches and pains, this, that, and the other. I wanted them to wake up to a mother who's out there running, who's out there gymming, who's out there lifting weights and doing whatever possible. So my daughters were my prime motivation for where I am today. And well, the journey started about 6 years back, and I turned my passion into profession when we moved into Noida, because I wanted to help others, understand their bodies, their body physiology, and move along the path of fitness. So that's where my whole journey is.
That's great. That's fantastic. And I'll tell you, yes, sometimes our kids can be our motivation also. Sometimes our spouse can be our motivation. Our friends can be our motivation. So
Absolutely.
keep looking at others, keep following others also, what they do for their fitness, and keep motivating yourself and motivating others also. And next, Umesh, the handsome hunk over here, let me ask you that what has been your fitness journey and how did you come about this?
Sir, it all started 22 years back. matlab, I just wanted to be strong enough and I wanted to lift weight. For that, I was very self-motivated, very consistent with the gym thing. I just love to work out, and through all those years, I was very consistent uh, with the workouts. And last year, I opened up my own box, the fitness box in Gurgaon. So right now I'm a coach and tell people how to maintain their health and fitness. This is all about
That's
my
great. So yeah, that's a very
journey.
important thing that, in our teenage, the boys often, when there's a surge of testosterones, they want to look macho, they want to be strong, and they want to compete with others. They want to build up muscles. They want to look like Salman Khan. No. So don't stop them, encourage them, and be inspired by them. So you should never stop teenagers from working out. You should never stop your teenagers from, building muscles and all. Always encourage them, because once they get into this journey, there's no looking back. Even if they pause for a little while, they will always be able to come back to it in future. So we have another teenager with us, Lord Girish Pandit.
Hi.
So let me introduce you to him. He made it to the Zoom. And why don't you share your fitness journey with us, Girish?
Yeah, sure, Sanjay. It all started around few years back, and I still remember distinctly. It started with a setback. We were on a holiday, and my kids, they said, "Papa, let's play Pakran Pakrai." And after 2 minutes, I was absolutely exhausted, and I sat down. I said, let's play some other game. They said, what? I said, let's play Antakshari, So, but it was a setback. And, when I came back, and then I realized that I have to do something about my fitness. So like most of us, yes. So, and most of us, what we do is I joined the nearby gym, which was the cheapest one. And I went there, and, this trainer, he saw me, he said, Acha jara 10 push-ups lagao. And, after the third push-up, I couldn't get up. And it was very embarrassing for me, because there were so many people who were eyeing me with the corner of their eyes, including some nice looking girls. So very embarrassing. So I decided that I was very motivated when I came out of the gym. I said, tomorrow and after a few weeks, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to show them that I can do all these fitness things and all that. But to my surprise, in the morning, when I got up, so my imbalance, I think, dominated my motivation. And after that, I never went to that gym. So I was still motivated to do something. I said, not gym, let me think about some outdoor activities. And then I had a friend who was doing lots of running and cycling, posting his pictures every day, and getting attention of all the girls in our group. So I said, I have to, this is the right man, I have to follow him. So, and this gentleman was very nice, to guide me, to motivate me. He said, please start walking, slide jogging, keep on posting, keep on telling me the progress and all that. So that's how the fitness journey started. And I'm still following this gentleman. And he has been carrying me throughout the road of fitness. And this was you, Sanjay Dhawan. So I call him ST Guru. So I'm still passionately following him, and he has been the inspiration which kept me going all these years.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
Yes.
your kind words. Yes, kids, as I said, kids can be motivating factors. Sometimes setbacks in life, which can be
Yeah.
very small setbacks. Like I can tell you about myself. My son is a late child in my life. I was about 41 when he was born. And when he was turning about 3, 4, I thought that I'm kind of drifting away from fitness. And I don't want to have, say, a 10-year-old schoolboy, asking me to play with him and I not being able to fit enough to play with him. So that was a motivating factor. I had a slip disc in 2003, that again affected my health. Later on, that became a motivating factor. So the motivation can come from very form. And that is the single most important prerequisite on your path towards fitness. So whatever motivates you, whether it is your kids, it's your family, it's your friends, it is posting on the websites, either it's girls, you go to gym, you see beautiful girls over there, if they motivate you, very, very, very fine, follow them.
Always.
Nothing wrong with them. Because if you're fit, you'll be able to motivate them in return. So it's a mutual.
I think me and Manisha are happy to be the motivators because we only look at our weights.
Yes, studies have shown that for every fit girl, there are 10 guys who are becoming fit now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you're welcome.
so I'm going to be starting with some questions now. So let me start with Girish, that you're a doctor and you're a fitness enthusiast now. So what exactly is fitness? What is meant by fitness? Is it just being muscular? Is it being slim? Or is it something else? So what exactly is fitness? Let us understand that first before we go further now.
Yeah. See, the literal meaning of fitness is a condition of being healthy and strong, right? But actually the fitness, it has 3 major components. First and the most important one is the mental health. Second one is your physical health. And third one is your emotional health. Now, if you want to be totally fit, you have to have a balance of all these 3 components of the health. So if you're mentally healthy, you're emotionally strong, if you're physically doing well, then you are a fit person. Now, talking about the physical fitness, it has 3 components. One is what we call as aerobic fitness, where, we condition our lungs and heart. And second one is a muscular fitness, or the muscular strengthening, where we gain more power and more endurance. And third one is the flexibility, where we do the stretches and mobilize our joints and all that. Now, it's very important, to keep a balance between all these 3 aspects of the physical training.
So why is it important to be fit?
It's important to be fit because if you are fit, then fitness means like you are able to perform your day-to-day activities without getting exhausted, without getting lethargic. And also at the same time, during your day-to-day life, you should be able to face some challenges. The physical fitness challenges, like if the lift is not working and if you have to climb 4 floors and you say, oh my God, I can't do that. So for the day-to-day activities, the fitness is very important. That is the first aspect. The second aspect is that, the fitness generates so much of self-confidence in you. So once you start doing fitness regimes and all that, and after a few weeks, you look at the mirror and you start liking yourself. And that gives you such a confidence, which helps you in your work and in your social life as well. Now, the third important thing about the fitness is that uh, it takes care of lifestyle diseases. The diseases like diabetes, like blood pressure, and it is also a part of the therapy for so many ailments like blood pressure, diabetes, and hormonal imbalances, depression, arthritis. So the fitness is important for everyone to be going around.
So in other words, fitness enables you to do the things and enjoy the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And it also keeps a lot of diseases at bay. It keeps you
Yeah.
healthy and keeps you away from the hospitals and the treatment. Hospitals are expensive. Treatment is expensive. See, I tell all my friends, that, either you spend money on a gym or you spend money later on in a hospital. Either you spend time in a gym or you spend more time in the hospital later on. So it's better to spend time and money in the gym than in the hospital. No? So Dr.
Yeah.
Girish, how to get
Yeah.
motivated for fitness and how
Yeah.
to
So
stay
before
motivated?
that, see, before that, I also wanted to add one more thing. If you are fit, you become more adventurous, and you are always looking forwards to take the challenges in your life.
Right.
Like instead of adventurous means, instead of going to Goa and Thailand every year, you plan for your treks and hikes.
Yeah.
So that's how that changes absolute equation of your lifestyle.
Correct.
So coming to your question about what was the question? Sorry.
How to get motivated?
Yes, that's the most challenging part, and that's the most important part of the fitness. Now, motivation, there can be three types of motivations. One is the most important one is the self-motivation. To start fitness regime, you have to have a drive and you have to be motivated that I have to do this kind of physical activity to keep myself fit. Second motivation, which we already discussed, comes from your family, your near and dear ones, and from your friends. So someone kicks you out of the bed and say, go out and go for a walk or for a run. Or, you look at them and you say, oh, I want to be fit. I want to be living for a longer time to enjoy all their events in the life. So, and the third type of people who actually motivate you are the people who are the fitness icons, the fitness ambassadors, like we have Manisha, Pallavi, and these are the people who are the icons, and you see them on the social media, you see them on the videos, and you say, yes, I also want to become like these people once upon a time. You look at the muscles of Chaitanya, you say, I also want to have biceps like these. So these are the types of motivations which are required. And apart from that, very important thing is that you have to take the journey to fitness as a big event in your life. So what I believe is whatever you do in your life, do with a bank. So if you are planning your fitness journey, if you're a beginner and all that, take it as an event, just like, your holiday, your anniversary, you plan it and you spend money and you celebrate it. So similarly, for fitness, go and buy a nice fitness outfit, buy some good shoes, buy some fitness gadgets, and they definitely they motivate you to keep on doing the fitness. Apart from that, you have to keep yourself motivated. You have to have certain applications in your phone, which keep a track of your fitness journey. How much you did last month, how much you are doing now, what are your goals. So that is very important to keep you motivated. And apart from that, I think that's it. These are the important motivation. And of course, you should be signing in for all the events which are happening around. If there is a 5-kilometer run, 10-kilometer run, sign it, go there. Even if you are not able to finish it, you're walking, you will get definitely motivated by seeing some people who are less fit than you and they are putting more effort than what you are doing.
Great. So basically what you're saying is that you should take fitness as a project in your life,
Yes.
and invest your heart into it, not just the time and money. But first thing is you have to invest your heart into it. Time and money will follow. So don't take as fitness as just a small side thing, but it should be an important part of your life. Make it an important part, important project, important aspect of your life. I'll go on to Manisha. Manisha, how to start? Okay, before that, no, guys, please put your subtitles on so that you can see these questions which are popping up on your screen. So Manisha, how to start the journey of fitness for somebody who has no experience of fitness, or somebody who's had very little experience, or somebody who's struggling to start now?
All right. So very, very good question, because I think a lot of us fall into this category. At least even those that start eventually sometimes fall off and then want to come back, and you're struggling. So the struggle is real. The struggle is real for people like me and Pallavi and Umesh as well, except that it's become part of our DNA. So you wake up every day and it's like having your cup of coffee and you're moving. So when I take on someone who's starting very new into this journey of fitness, the first thing I ask is, what is your motivating factor? What is your philosophy for coming to me? Why is it that you're coming to me? Most often it's, I want to lose weight, or I have an event, or teach me how to swim. Taking that, a lot of the coaches and a lot of people that are trainers will work around that. But for everyone, I think it's very important. Generally, you should know why you're doing this. It should be very, very important to you. So when you understand the why, you will know that you have to stick with it. If it's not important to you, you're the first one that's going to stop, following this journey. Make an overall general plan. Very, very important. Have clear vision. 2020, this is my year. This is what I want to do. And make little plans in between. And for you to stick to those plans, you can reach out to a coach, a friend, a father, your sister, your brother, anybody. The minute you feel you're not motivated, you're derailing, this is not what you wanted to do, explore. There's no harm in exploring. There's no harm in changing your plan. There's no harm in saying, this didn't work for me, I need to use something else. So be okay with the decisions that you made, because it's only your journey. What Manisha did or Dr. Pandit did really doesn't matter. It's just that this was our journey and this is how it played out for us. And you are on your own path, but it's important for you to have some kind of idea of where you're headed. Apart from that, if you're not able to stick to a plan, it's important to reach out to people that are professionals. You can even have one counseling session, and that might flip your mind. It's a big mental game. And I think once you get started, you're pretty much on a good path. And whenever you feel you're derailing, go to resources. That's the most important thing. We go to resources for everything else that we do. Kahan se hum vegetables kharid rahe hain, kahan se hum ye le rahe hain, wo, it's just the same thing. We have to dig deep into the resources that we have. And I think that's about sums it up.
So Manisha, what to do when you start out? What to start with?
So I think what to start with is a very important thing. Oh, should I start weightlifting? Should I start running? Oh, you only run. Oh, you only are you're so bulky. So all those questions are sprung at you every single time. And I'm talking as a coach, so so take it from that aspect, as well as someone who's been through this journey. And I'm still learning. I still go. I still get coached. I still like to learn new things. So I'm on the flip side as well. The minute you know why you are doing this, you know what you're going to do. Whether you come to me and you say, I want to lose weight, so then the coach will make a plan. Or Pallavi, for say example, because we know Pallavi's story was she wanted to be a good role model for her children. She didn't want to lead this life anymore. She knew the why. And then she dug deep and she figured out, okay, my metabolism isn't revved up. What am I going to do to fix that? Okay, I'm not able to run more than 1 kilometer. How can I fix that? Okay, I want to lift more weight. How can I do that? So I think once you figure out what it is that you really want to do, in my philosophy of being fit, it's very important to just be able to move your body to the best ability that you can in any given situation, whether it's your picking up your rice, whether you're lifting weights, whether you're pushing a wheelchair for someone. If your body is strong, your mind is strong, and vice versa. So know what you are going to do, and that's how you'll figure out where you're going to start. whether it is delving into social media to look for resources, whether it is talking to a friend, or whether it is just getting motivated to go on this journey. I'd like to give a little bit of an example because I coach a lot of triathletes, and triathlon community is very large now in India. Very often people would, the swimming community was very small, but the minute someone says, I want to be a triathlete, the swimming community has expanded. So that was their little trigger. The trigger for them was, I want to be a triathlete. So now they're great swimmers as well. So you need to know what you're trying to do when you're starting out on this journey. You need to identify your philosophy, your goal, your end result. So having said that, it's different for everyone.
Yes, it's actually very different for everyone, and one needs to be very, very realistic. I think what the question which one should ask is that, where am I now? If you've been sitting in the couch for the last 3 years, you've done nothing at all in terms of fitness, you should not start running the next day. See, it's very, very important to condition your body for exercise. So when you start thinking of exercise, you must make sure that your body is actually ready to start exercising. So you must condition your body first and take it to the start line and then start. No. So if you have no prior experience of working out, if you have no prior experience of exercising, it's better to start slowly and very, very gradually pick up pace. We'll come to that part later on. But the next question to Manisha is that, Manisha, we hear this term called cardio or cardio training. What exactly is cardio training?
So cardiovascular training, everybody's very familiar with that. And now, again, going back to the triathlon community, we are all swim, bike, run, endurance athletes. Cardio is also called aerobic exercise. It basically moves your larger muscles over long periods of time and also raises your heart rate. It's very good for your heart training, and it's very, very advantageous in the long run. But I also know that cardio training is not the only training that one should be doing. I'm a big endurance junkie, so they call. But I also lift and do strength training and do all sorts of other things. So cardio training is really good for your heart rate, for your heart. But other than that, I see value in doing a mixed kind of training if you're going on a fitness journey, including whether it is yoga or strength or building muscle or flexibility only. To have a well-rounded fitness, it's important to have everything incorporated into your training program.
So what are the examples of cardio training?
So you can swim, run, bike. You can also be doing, you can skip, you can do burpees, you can do lots of jumping squats. All of those raise your heart rate. You're in a zone, you're getting good training, your heart's getting good conditioning, and hopefully you're going to live much longer post-COVID.
Okay, so see, suppose I am an obese person and I have done nothing so far in my life and I want to start. No, I cannot go running on the street. I cannot start cycling. I cannot swim. I cannot do burpees. No, I can do nothing of these things that you mentioned. So
no,
what?
Of course you can. No, of course you can. So what you do is you start small.
Yeah.
And you definitely, if you are obese, it's another extreme, but you definitely take one counseling session from somebody who's trained to assess you, and you start small. You walk for 3 minutes and you run for 1 minute. And you start small. And then if you have some aches and pains, we reassess you and you start small again. So you might be walking for 4 minutes and running for 30 seconds, but you can. But you start really, really small. And that kind of an assessment comes from somebody who's had a lot of experience in telling you what might work for you and what may not. But you can always put down your own, if you can't afford, if you can't go to, if you have any other limitations, it's always a good idea to try a few tricks. There's a lot of published information, data that you can resort to and try tricks on your own. Be experimentative, but don't be foolish. Experiment on your body. You know your body best. I might tell you it's not a good thing, but I don't know your body as well as you do. So listen to your body. And if that little bit of walk, run worked for you, go ahead and do it for longer. So you can start small.
Yeah. So the key is
But
that
it's
you
better.
start.
So, Doc Saab, it's better to do something that's non-impact like swimming or cycling. It is better, but it doesn't mean that you can't skip or do burpees. We have lots of variations for lots of different exercises for people that want to start. And the last thing I want to say is, when you do that, and you come to me saying, I'm my knees hurt and I'm obese and the minute I say, not at all, why don't you try this? There's the mental flip, because he's able to do it or she's able to do it, and you've got that confidence and you've got that go-to that you can do it, and it really flips the game completely.
Great. So the idea is to start small to see what you're able to do. Start with that and slowly progress. No, that brings us to the next question. That is, what is, and which I'll ask Umesh to come in for that. What is resistance training or strength training?
Strength training is like a weight training we do in the gym. First of all, I'll tell you about how to stay fit in a simpler way. So you have to be strong with your mind when it comes to being uh, what do we say? Sorry. uh,
So
we
is it?
need to have a strong mind.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to have a strong mind when it comes to gaining muscle or losing weight or just to keep fit. So the most important component is a strong mind. If you have a strong mind, you can do you can gain muscle, you can reduce weight, and you can do try any sport, do cycling, swimming, whatever you can do for the fitness. So you need to have a strong mind for that, and you
Is
need
it,
to self motivate yourself for
Umesh,
doing
I'm
those
sorry I'm
things.
interrupting. Isn't it, it doesn't go hand in hand that you start working out, you become physically stronger, your mind also becomes stronger alongside. Once you achieve a small target, you feel stronger, your mind becomes stronger, and you go for a next bigger target. No, so I think wherever you are, you should start and keep working out on that. No,
Sorry, I couldn't get.
the physical fitness itself strengthens your mind and not just your body.
No, no, no. It's the other way around. A strong mind can get you a strong physique. Not just a strong physique, you'll have a strong mind and
I
a
think it
healthy
goes
mind
both
and a
both.
stress-free
I think it
mind.
goes both ways. Both are
I,
helping each other. You know.
I would agree, Dr. Sanjay.
Yeah,
I would agree.
because when once you start doing something for a longer time, it becomes a habit.
Yes.
So that's how your mind becomes strong, becomes a habit.
I think what he means to say is that initially, like I
Yeah.
can understand what he is saying, because I think apart from Girish, both you and Sanjay, you and Manisha have always been a fit person. But I agree with what Umesh is saying, that the first initial years, I would say, not only months,
Yeah.
I think he's completely right that you need to have a strong mind. It's otherwise really difficult. Once you build up the strong stamina and the physical fitness, then it's all combined. But
Yeah, then it's all combined.
जो फर्स्ट स्टेप है which I can get what he's saying, जो फर्स्ट मेरे ख्याल से 1-2 साल है where you have to actually push yourself every single day. You have to have a strong mind. बहुत लोग वहाँ fail कर जाते हैं. That's where many people go wrong. So I can understand what he's trying to say.
Okay.
So,
Yes. Yeah. Go on ahead, Umesh.
The, uh, what was the question, sir?
The question was that about the resistance strength training, and we're talking about how to build up strength and how to do the resistance training.
You can do weight training and just be consistent with your workouts. Whatever your workout you do, whether it's cardio, vascular, or endurance training, HIIT training, weight training, just be consistent. Consistency is the only mantra that can keep you fit for all the years. And your habits, your sleeping pattern, your food pattern, and your workout pattern, that can keep you fit more.
So if somebody does not have any weights at home, and these days gyms are all closed due to lockdown. What to do in that case?
Your body is a very good machine. You can use your body weight to do all the exercise. You can do basic exercise. Basic exercise forms a good base for your muscle building or weight loss. For weight loss, in case if gyms are like closed, you can go for running, jogging, or maybe you can do some heart rate shooting exercises like burpees box jumps, and maybe jump squats, jumping lunges, and number of exercises that can shoot your heart rate, and you can lose weight in a good time. And diet also plays a very important role. So I tell my kids to be natural and stay away from the artificial foods, artificial proteins,
So
packed
we'll
foods,
come to the diet
and
part
to
later
stay
on, but
natural,
again,
whatever.
coming back to the weights part, no, we see that there are machines are there. We see where their resistance bands are there. We see that there are free weights which are there. What do you say? Like, how do you guide a beginner that what to go for? There is body
Well, I
weight
think
exercises, there are
you
machine exercises,
can
there are
do
free weight
you can
exercises.
do push-up, you can do push-ups, you can do pull-ups, and there are many body weight exercises to keep you fit and maintain yourself. Matlab they are the basic exercises. They can also build muscles if you want to be big in size. These are the basic exercises. So your push-up is a very compound exercise. You can
मैंने
do.
कभी एक्सरसाइज करी नहीं है, मेरे से एक भी पुशअप नहीं होता है, तो कैसे करें बताइए?
You can start with first of all you have to start with just giving half an hour to yourself initially, and to make up your mind that you have started doing exercise,
Right.
and that could be maybe walking, or maybe brisk walk, jogging, running. Then you have to convert that half an hour to some muscle training. First of all, you have to just start with easy going exercises. Just start running, or maybe start walking. So you have to start giving time to yourself, half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. Then you have to utilize that time to whatever progressive exercise you can do.
Are there any easier versions of these exercises which newcomers can start with? Say a push-up or a pull-up. Are there easier forms of these same exercises?
Yeah, we have scaled version, so you can do easier version for push up and easier version for a pull up. That we can, I can tell personally to the person who want to know. But yes, there are scale version, easier version to start the basic exercise.
Yeah, great. So basically, message for the newcomers is that if you find that these exercises are not easy for you to start with, if you're not able to do that, there are easier versions of the same exercise available. You can start with the easier versions first, gain some strength, gain some experience, and then go on to the proper version of the exercise. Now, that brings us to the next question. What is this thing about mobility and balance, Umesh?
So mobility is the range of motion of any joint. You need to have a good mobility in your joints. Like nowadays, we have stopped sitting on the floor. तो नीचे बैठना ही मुश्किल हो गया है सर आजकल लोगों के लिए. तो हिप मोबिलिटी लॉक, वी हैव हिप लॉक्ड नी. तो ऐसी ऐसी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. तो मे बी वी हैव टू टेक इन कंसर्न द मोबिलिटी आल्सो. तो उसके ऊपर भी काम करना चाहिए.
So how do you do that?
मोबिलिटी एक्सरसाइजेस भी करनी चाहिए हमें.
So how do you do that?
There are certain exercises, मतलब I can't tell you
Okay.
now.
And
There are certain exercises.
what is this thing about stretching that we're always told ki fine after exercise stretch or before exercise stretch, cold stretch, warm stretch? What is
One needs to, मतलब we have the best way to work out is first warm up yourself for 10 minutes, then plan a workout for maybe 25 minutes or 30 minutes, and then stretch yourself. So that's a good way to work out, to start and end the workout too. तो इसी तरीके से ही करना चाहिए सर, हमेशा वार्म अप करके. देयर आर एक्सरसाइजेस टू वार्म अप. You have to stretch your body, and then after the workout you have to stretch it again, क्योंकि उसमें lactic acid जो बन जाता है सर, वो after the stretch you can release that lactic acid, ताकि अगले दिन soreness उस body part में कम हो.
Umesh, in real life when very interesting phenomena happens. आज मैंने ये प्रोग्राम देखा, मुझे पूरा जोश आ गया. Tomorrow I'll start running. Day after I'll go to gym. 3 days I do with full enthusiasm. And what happens is I sprain my back, I sprain my leg, I sprain my knee, sprain my joints. So, and that puts us back by weeks and then kills the enthusiasm and we stop going to the gym. How to prevent injury when you're starting out?
Sir, on that point I will say मतलब we should do everything like eating and working out and whatever in life in moderation, not to less, not to more. एंड मतलब सब इंडिविजुअल के हिसाब से मॉडरेशन अलग अलग होती है, तो जस्ट डू eat in moderation, work out in moderation, that will keep you more fit and healthy. This is what I think.
Great. Manisha, I have a question for you. You know, we talked about cardio, we talked about resistance or weight training, we talked about stretching, mobility, warm up, you know, and injury prevention. How to mix these things together to have a good, you know, say fitness regime or a fitness portfolio?
So that's a really good question. Again, I'm going to go back to what are your goals? It's very important to understand that everybody has different goals when they come into, or their main motivating factor. Let me put it to you that way. So for, say, for example, I have someone like, say, Pallavi comes and she says, I need to lose weight, but I also want to look lean. So in which case we would do a lot of weight training as well as a lot of cardio and endurance training as well. And somebody else comes to me and says, make me faster in my run. This is my, please motivate me to do a half marathon. Again, for every person, the permutation combination of what we are doing with resistance, strength, flexibility, mobility, and endurance is all dependent on what their end goal is. For me, I think it's very important to encapture all of this when you're training. You must have some form of, you must have a regime where you are able to manage a certain amount of cardio, heart rate training. You must be able to lift weights. It's necessary for your bones. It's necessary for part of your life. So it's necessary to be flexible. All of this in little pieces, you should adapt in your regime of fitness. You should be able to manage that within a period of time. And if you find that I don't like cardio, there are various versions of cardio that you might like. So you might reach out to someone to help you do that. And I don't like to lift weights, I only do yoga. That's fair enough, that's good for you. But to have a fit body, strength as well as endurance is very important.
Great. So basically, the movement of exercise or the fitness has got three parts. One is the fast movement, so-called cardio, which makes you breathless, which increases the circulation in the body. It is required. So you must do some cardio workout. Then there's a resistance training or the strength training, where you're moving against a force, against a resistance, whether it is the gravity of which is acting on your body, or whether you're lifting a weight or you're pulling on a band or a machine. No. So which strengthens your muscles, which is again required. Third is the flexibility or the mobility of joint in the body, whether it's yoga, Pilates, or any form that you want to do, it's required. So there has to be somewhat of a balance of these three things. Yes, you can emphasize more on something that you like more. So if you want to be a runner primarily, you can run more. But for runner also, strength training is required,
Very
flexibility is
important.
required. No, somebody wants to become, say, do bodybuilding or so, and have a good physique. For him also, cardio is required. Because if your circulation is not able to keep pace with the muscles which are growing, your muscles will not grow as fast. No? So we need to do these things in balance. No? But we have noticed that some days we're able to do workout better. On other days, we don't perform as well. No? Some days we are able to lift heavier weight. Others days we are not able to lift as heavy weight. Some days we are able to run faster and longer. Others we are not. So Pallavi, what is the role of rest and recovery for in terms of fitness and exercise? Your mic is, you need to unmute your mic. Yes.
Yeah, Sanjay, that's an extremely important question. And when it comes to rest and recovery, I think that, see, my belief and my motto is that there is a foundation of health, what we are talking about. What is the prime philosophy behind all of us who are here today listening to this conversation is that we want to be healthy. Whether it's you may transform it into losing weight or building up muscle or whatever, the net result is health. And health is built up on fitness, on food, and on rest and recovery. So these are the triangle over which the roof of health is built. Rest and recovery, I feel, sleep, rest and recovery, low stress. These are the four things which we actually sometimes forget to think about. we, especially for women, I think it's extremely important. Women tend to definitely stress out more, burn out more, because they're multitasking so much, and all of the, and also the way their hormones, the way their body physiology is there for them, rest, recovery, and sleep and low stress is extremely important. When it comes to rest, about at least 6 to 8 hours of good quality sleep, absolutely good quality sleep. If on a particular day you have set an alarm and you are not able to really wake up on that alarm, your body is saying you need rest, it is any day better to skip that workout schedule, to skip that run, go switch off your alarm, go off to sleep. You will end up feeling stronger on the other days, rather than dragging yourself to the workout and performing a workout which really is not productive. I do not believe in that kind of a workout at all. Sometimes you may end up just stressing and injuring yourself. Number two, the best way to monitor all of this is to look at your heart rate. You have all those data which shows you your cardiac drift and your heart rate. But on a good day, if your heart rate is maybe 10, 15 beats above whatever your baseline cardiac rate is when you wake up in the morning, means that your body is already in a inflamed state. It's in a stressed out state, whether it's because of extra workouts or whether it's because of anything else. There can be so many stressful factors in our lives. It's any day better to, just sleep for a while, to reduce your cortisol levels again. For that, then all the meditation techniques, the sleep techniques, and I think you intend to have a seminar over sleep, which is something which is going to be very important, because that's where sleep, rest, recovery, and lower cortisol levels. And that's where I do stress quite a bit on yoga, because if you are doing yoga in a proper manner with long breath holds, with your pranayama in place, that's the only activity that's the only way of, it's not even an exercise, it's a practice. Yoga is always a practice, So it's the only practice which actually lowers your heart rate. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system rather than your sympathetic nervous system. So give your body breaks. Even on the days when you are not feeling like doing any of these, you could just wake up comfortably, do a couple of nice deep breath with deep breath, Surya Namaskars, go do deep pranayams, and you will any day feel better. So when it comes to all the types of exercise patterns that you have mentioned, we have to look into an exercise practice which actually involves our parasympathetic nervous system rather than our sympathetic nervous system. Because anytime when we are all the time stressing our sympathetic nervous system, we know that the cortisol rises, and when the cortisol rises, then it completely plays havoc. Actually, lack of sleep, high cortisol levels, a stressful job, these can all lead to your weight loss weight will completely plateau. You might even start gaining weight, you might start having water retention, you might start just your health might completely start deteriorating. So please look into rest, sleep, recovery, lowering of your cortisol levels.
You talked about the triangle of fitness, and you said exercise, sleep and recovery, and nutrition.
Food, fitness, and nutrition.
So that brings us to a very important topic, which is, you say it's lunchtime. So let's talk about food now. So what are the basics of good nutrition for a newcomer who is starting on the fitness journey?
Absolutely.
We hear a lot about nutrition and all, but let us say that, in basic, simple terms, that what to do, how to take care of your diet and nutrition for somebody who's starting out.
So, well, to start it off, I'm going to start at a very, very somber note. It's COVID has actually taught us that metabolic health all over the world is in a very bad shape. And I've been holding all these webinars with a lot of senior renowned doctors, and everybody is of the firm opinion that so much of COVID pandemic is all thanks to a lot of poor metabolic health globally. Now comes to a small minor health alert when it comes to Indians. And we all need to know that more than 1/3 of Indians have high triglycerides. They have high fasting insulin. These are some biomarkers which we need to measure on a consistently annual basis. And those are the triglyceride levels, the triglyceride HDL ratio, the fasting insulin, the ESR, the C-reactive protein. So these are all the biomarkers. And when we come to talking about a nutrition plan, it has to, and nutrition, it is, yes, I know and I agree, it is extremely personalized, might be different for you, might be different for Manisha, might be different for Girish, might be different for Unmesh. How do we monitor it? Is it like what suits me? I feel I'm fine with eating this, I feel I'm fine with eating that. No, that is not the way we as doctors need to go about it. We need to look at the biomarkers. We need to look at your body's investigation. I have seen many runners who have been running full marathons, ultra marathons, having a high HbA1c, having a high fasting insulin, having extremely high triglycerides. And I have seen many gym trainers who are also having a havoc in all these investigations. So what are the primary thing when we go to a nutritionist, a doctor, a fitness expert looking into something which helps us with our nutrition? Please first get your parameters done. And the biomarkers, I will also again stress, please note it down. It's triglycerides, it's HDL, it's HbA1c, it's fasting insulin, it's the triglyceride HDL ratio, and it is your ESR and C-reactive protein. If all of, and your LFT, again, fatty liver, another extremely crucial thing, which is going to prove, ultimately create havoc in your metabolic health as later on. So now when we come to something where we say, what are the prime nutrients which we should know about? So let's divide them into macros and micros. The macros, we all know the most important are your protein, because protein is the essential building blocks of the body. You cannot go low on your required daily allowance of your protein. The protein deficiency chronically builds up. And then it might present at an age of 40, at age of 50, at age of 60, but it will present. The second are of course, your carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, they are primarily to be used according to your investigations. If you are an insulin resistant person, if you were obese and you're looking into losing weight, as I was, I was highly insulin resistant. And when I got to know that I'm insulin resistant, I used something which is called the therapeutic reduction of carbohydrates, which now in layman language is called the low carb, the keto, and all of these. Basically, scientifically and medically, it is just how you reduce your carbohydrates so that your HbA1c comes down, your insulin comes down, and as a byproduct, you gain health, you gain your fitness. And the third most maligned and the most essential, again, one of the most essential things for our body is the fats. Now, the word fats is equal to the word fat. Eating more of fats may not necessarily make you fat. And the fats which are of prime importance, again, the myth of the cholesterol is completely broken. The fats which are of prime importance are your ghee, are your coconut oil, are your olive oils. So all those who are listening to me here today, please stay away from refined oils, because that is what is leading into the high omega-6 levels in our body, actually even exceeding 20:1, omega-6 to 3, even though the normal ratio should be something like 4:1 or 3:1, right? So these are the three important macronutrients. They have to be personalized and targeted according to your investigations. Where if you're a metabolically active person, you're into a triathlon, then your carbohydrates need to be targeted to give you the amount of energy. But I'm sure Manisha must be knowing all about the fat adaptation diet, which so many triathletes all over the world are now looking into. Zach Bitter, one of the topmost ultra athletes, completely follows the fat adaptation diet. I was talking with Mr. John Gloucester yesterday, who's the sports nutritionist of the Indian cricket team. They are all moving into the fat adapted diet because they are seeing that the inflammation in the body is coming down, right? Then we move into the micros, and we all know the micros which are important are all our multivitamins. So again, unfortunately, too much of lack of all of these in our day-to-day food because of adulteration, the soil depletion, so many other factors going on. So multivitamin deficiency, iron deficiency is very, very common in in so many people. Magnesium deficiency is so common. Selenium deficiency is so common. Folic acid, so very important, and so many others like those. So either you could look into them, or if you are actually feeling tired all the time, if you have fatigue, hair loss, dark circles under your eyes, all of these, then look into one of these multivitamin deficiencies. And then comes the minerals. Of course, the most important, sodium, potassium, magnesium. Magnesium is one of the most less often talked about mineral, and it is one of the most important. And now there is a lot of data available all over the place about the role of magnesium. So please, all of those who are interested could go and read about the importance of magnesium. I would definitely classify sodium, potassium, magnesium into non-negotiable minerals which you have to add in your day-to-day life, especially for those who are moving into fitness. And then you balance it out on what?
Pallavi, suppose I'm a middle-aged businessman,
Absolutely.
who's overweight and has hardly any time, and my wife and kids are pushing me into fitness.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to go to a doctor. I don't want to go to a nutritionist. No, I'm resisting fitness part also, but they're pushing me into it, so I'm starting it out now. So give me the guidance in simple terms that what should I take care of in terms of my diet, or what should guide my wife that what should she take care of my diet? No.
Absolutely, Sanjay. So the first thing is I counsel my patients, I sit them down and I make them explain that when their fasting insulin is high, when their HbA1c is high, then what is going to be the complications? And when they hear the complications of spending a lifetime.
No, but I'm not going for the test. I'm not getting the HbA1c tested.
If your height is to weight ratio is above 0.5, then that's another very important thing. Yeah. And that's where the role of that's when you need to come to resources like Manisha suggested. Yeah. Once they talk to me, once they meet me, once they are convinced, and it's a very slow hand holding process. Yeah. It's a very slow process. It's just like again, I do not believe in a hypocaloric diet. Calorie in, calorie out concept for the kind of fat adaptation, therapeutic carbohydrate reduction plans I follow, I do not believe. So the first thing I reassure them is that you are never going to be hungry. If you are hungry, then I am somewhere wrong. Because you know what? Everybody fears hunger. That used to be the same thing with me, that I used to be so fearful of going into diet plans because I never wanted to exercise more and eat less. I was never wanting to stay hungry. I used to have those massive cravings, and everybody who has, become from a fat to a fit person knows what hunger and what cravings means. So a lot of us, we suppress our cravings, but it lands up into fatigue and tiredness. The first thing is to reassure the patient you are not going to feel hungry, and you give them adequate food to eat. Intermittent fasting works wonders for such people. You just need to tell them, okay, just forego your morning biscuits which you have. Maybe you could just change your biscuits and have a handful of almonds. So you are immediately changing a highly processed carbohydrate into good quality fats and omegas. So as soon as you do that little bit of change, the patient feels reassured, okay, she is not going to make us stay hungry. And the initial first month, I give them such a high quality, nutrient dense diet to eat, which is so much full of good quality fats and proteins. They are never hungry. They are never hungry. They're so happy that they tell me, we can't eat all that food you have given us. Please reduce it. And that's when it's a go-ahead signal for me.
That reminds me of a line from the movie The Lion King. Stick with me and you'll never go hungry again. No.
Absolutely.
So next,
I hate being hungry. I hate that feeling that hunger. I've been through that. I've done that. And believe me, it's a terrible feeling.
So we're coming towards the end part of our program. So let me just go to you guys one by one once again. That if you have to give one final take-home message to the audience, what will you say? So let me start with Girish again. Girish, so what is the final take-home message for the audience that you have?
So the final take-home message is that if you are fit, you are always going to be welcome with a smile and a compliment. So fit hai to hit hai.
Great. Manisha, what do you say? Your mic is mute. Unmute your mic, please.
All right.
Yes.
So being fit, being healthy is very, very important. How you do it, when you do it, where you do it, with who you do it, should be your decision. Don't compare yourself. But you were given this body, you were given this mind, you were given this. It's like a temple. Please appreciate it. Please nurture it. Please look after it, and you will be happier for it. And never ever compare yourself to anyone. And look outside of yourself whenever you need help, because that's very important. A lot of people tend to try and go on this journey all on their own, and it's not that easy.
Yeah, that's
So-
very, very important message that, your body is your temple, or you can say it's a gift from God. It's the tool that nature has given you to work on this earth. Take care of this tool. Take care of this gift. It's very, very important, because your connect with this world is your body. If your body is not functioning fine, you will not be able to enjoy half your life. So to be able to enjoy your life fully, yes, you should. Yeah.
And never ever compare yourself to anyone, because if you're feeling fit at 80 kilos and you are actually doing good stuff for yourself, it's also a mind body thing. So stick with that. What I'm saying is, you don't have to be 50 kilos to be. You don't have to be. So stick with
Absolutely.
yourself.
Absolutely.
Have your own goals.
There are
So,
people who are fat and fit. So
Absolutely.
weight should not be the only criteria of fitness. If you're feeling fit, you're able to do things. I know my father-in-law is overweight, but he can walk for miles. He can lift weight. He can do
Absolutely.
cycling and all. He's absolutely fit and fantastic. So weight should be
So-
just one of the criteria, not the main criteria.
I actually mentor a lot of obese teenagers, and that's something I always tell them.
Great.
That we're not going to keep
Umesh,
checking the scale.
Umesh, what is your message for the viewers now?
Sir, my message would be, it's high time now. So we should start loving ourselves and start taking care of ourselves, our mind, our body. That's the best thing we have. So if we are not going to take care of, our mind, body, and health.
Great.
So,
Great.
so
Palvi, what is your final word?
Yeah, my final word would be that make health your destination. The end product should be health, and use food and fitness as your journey. So food, fitness, sleep, rest, that should be your journey. Make health, make it so that 60, 70, 80, 90, you should stay as healthy as possible. So that should be your destination, health.
That's fantastic. So, with all these great messages which the experts have given, let me add a few things. Motivation, of course, we said that it's a very, very important prerequisite. And somebody, Dr. Priyanka commented that discipline is required. Not to achieve, what is the single most important things that will help you achieve your fitness goal is regularity. Whether you do cardio, whether you do resistance training, whatever you do, whatever mode of exercise you do, but if you're not
just be
regular,
regular.
you'll not get anywhere. So
Absolutely.
regularity is the most important thing to reach your goal. And the experts feel free to mind. Now, another thing, the most important benefit of exercise is not on the body, it's on the mind.
Correct.
Your mind is healthy, your mind is happy, your mind is free, your mind thinks differently, your mind is free from all the clutches, all the bonds. You are a different person altogether when you're doing. The effects on the body are collateral benefits, I would say.
Yeah.
So you should exercise for your mind. Body will be benefited in any case. Then never do fitness. Never go for fitness. Go for funness. Fitness has to be fun. If you don't enjoy it, you'll not be able to sustain it. So do the things that you like, do the things that you enjoy, do the things that make you happy. And when you're doing it, do it in a way that you enjoy it. Don't make it an ordeal for yourself. Yes, some people, once they become serious about fitness, they take it as an ordeal because they're looking at a target. The target gives them happiness and fun. The event gives them happiness, fun. It is a marathon which gives them happiness and fun. Okay, fine, it's fine for them. But for you, the fun may be different. If you want to run, you maybe want to run around in a forest, you may run on a, say, street, you may want to run alone, you may run with the music on. So make it fun for yourself. If it is not fun, you'll not be able to do it. Then gradual escalation. Have very, very realistic goals in mind. Do not try to overdo things. One of the biggest problems that happens is we try to overdo things, we land with an injury and we stop doing it. We give it up. That should not happen. Just go for gradual escalation. Your aim should be to increase your exercise, say every 2 to 4 weeks. Body is an amazing machine. The more you demand, the more it delivers. But the demand should be increased only very, very slowly. If you don't demand from your body will degenerate. So keep demanding, keep escalating. Don't do the same thing over and over again for months on. No. Every 2 to 4 weeks, ask more from your body. Try to do slightly more. And increment should be only about 10 to 20%, not more than that. Because the moment you do more than that, you are putting yourself in trouble. You're landing yourself in an injury. And my mantra, my take-home message for you all is, work your body and rest your mind. That is because these days we're doing it the other way around. We are working our minds day in, day out. Our body is lazing. Our body is getting degenerated. That should not be the case. The lifestyle has become so bad for us that the body is not working. We were all animals. We are animals. And all the animals were designed to be running out in the nature, hunting for food and eating it, and then sleeping. Then again, getting up, hunting for food, having fun, sleeping. But what are we doing? For 8 to 10 hours in a day, we're sitting straight on a chair. And then we are eating a lot of food. The food which you get in the nature is not very calorie efficient. It's not very fat efficient. It's not very protein efficient. It is a natural food. But what we are eating is so rich in calories, so rich in fat, so rich in protein. It is very, very unnatural. Yes. Very unnatural food. Any food which can be preserved is not a healthy food we eat.
Absolutely.
So learn from animals, learn from nature. The more we try to mimic them, the more we try to follow them, the healthier we will become.
Absolutely.
So also, if some of you may be wanting to read some books, some have more resources, more information, then this is a book which I recommend. It covers cycling, running, resistance training, weight training, and also talks about nutrition. It's a very good, comprehensive, small book to start with. And now that we're coming towards the end of the program, I'd like to first thank all my expert guests, Dr. Girish Pandit, Dr. Palvi Aga, Manisha Khungar, Umesh Chabra. Thank you very much for being on the show and sharing all wealth of the knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you for
And
having us.
To the viewers, don't go away. Next week, we're going to be having an amazing session. So we talked about cardio thing. We talked about strength training. There are a lot of technicalities and techniques which come into play. So next week's session is going to be purely technical, in the depth of the technicalities of cardio resistance training. We got 3 amazing athletes coming with us next week. We have one super fast, sick, Mr. Sandeep Singh. We have a super stylish and fit person, Riti Sahai. And we have super strong guy, Rahul Raghuvanshi, talking about the technicalities of fitness last week. So do come back next week. And please feel free to give your feedback in the comments below. Please share with your friends. Please share with your family. You never know who may be able to benefit through these talks. If there's a topic that you want me to include in my talks, please let me know. If you're an expert in something and you want to come onto the show, please connect with me. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here. I'm sorry that we ran out of time. We could not take the questions in, but next time we'll take more questions. However, you can put your questions down in the comments below, and I'll try myself or the experts to have them answer for you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Have a great week.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you very
next-
much.
See you next
Thank you.
week.
Bye-bye.